Okay, picture this. You open your fridge. There is a yogurt cup staring back at you. It looks fine. It smells fine. You almost grab a spoon. And then you flip it over and see the date. Expired. 2 days ago. And just like that, your brain hits the panic button. Is it dangerous? Is it still okay? Or is that little date basically just a suggestion, like a Best Buy sticker on your own willpower to go to the gym? Here is a number that might ruin your day a little. Americans throw away food worth tens of billions of dollars every single year. And get this, researchers found that about 20% of that waste happens for one specific reason. Not because the food smells bad, not because it's moldy or slimy or doing anything gross. It's because people see a date on the label and panic throw it in the trash, just like that yogurt. So today, we are doing a deep dive into expiration dates, where they came from, what they actually mean, who decides them, and why. And this is the part that's going to annoy you a little. Almost none of it has anything to do with whether your food will make you sick. Let's get into it. Part 1. Humans survived just fine without little stickers. Here is a fun fact to open with. For basically all of human history, food didn't come with a date on it. Like at all. 0. Your great-great-grandmother didn't check a label to know if the milk was bad. She picked it up, gave it a sniff, and her face told her everything she needed to know. Smell weird? Don't drink it. Looks fuzzy? Don't eat it. It was a simple system, and honestly, it worked for thousands of years. So when did this all change? Expiration dates only became a regular thing in the 20th century, once food started traveling hundreds or thousands of miles before it ever reached your kitchen. Once strangers in factories were packaging food for strangers in grocery stores in cities they would never visit, the whole just smell it system stopped being practical at scale. In the US, this really picked up in the 1970s. Before that, grocery stores used secret packaging codes, basically a string of letters and numbers only employees could decode, to track how long products had been sitting on the shelf. Customers had no idea what those codes meant, and people got annoyed. They wanted to know this stuff too. So supermarkets and manufacturers introduced something called open dating. Actual readable dates that you and I could understand without a secret decoder ring. And here is the detail that changes everything. That system was created to track freshness, not safety. Those are two very different things, and mixing them up is where basically all the confusion in your kitchen comes from. Part 2. The label soup. Why there are like 5 different dates and none of them agree. Alright, let's clear up the actual vocabulary, because this is where most people's brains short-circuit. Best before or best if used by, this is about quality, not safety. After this date, your crackers might taste a little less crispy, your cereal might lose some crunch, your chips might go a tiny bit stale. But less delicious is not the same thing as dangerous. Nobody has ever ended up in the hospital because their potato chips were 20% less crunchy than peak freshness. Use by. Now this one actually matters more. This date is about safety, and it shows up mostly on stuff that spoils fast: fresh meat, fish, dairy. After this date, the risk of harmful bacteria starts climbing. This is the one date you should actually pay attention to. Sell by, and here is a twist most people don't know. This date isn't even for you. It's for the store. It tells the people stocking shelves how long to display a product before pulling it. It is not a "this food becomes toxic at midnight" deadline. Your milk doesn't transform into a biohazard the second the sell-by date hits. It's basically a note employees use for inventory, not a warning label for your stomach. So when someone says, "Ugh, this is expired," they are often smashing 3 totally different concepts into one word. Quality, safety, store inventory. All different. All getting tossed in the trash together, literally. Part 3. Okay, so who is actually deciding these dates? Here is the part that genuinely surprised me when I first learned it. In most countries, including the US, manufacturers decide these dates themselves. There is often no government agency double-checking their math, no universal scientific standard they have to follow. Companies run their own tests, checking temperature, packaging, storage conditions, and then they pick a date. And, plot twist, that date usually isn't the literal last possible safe day. It's more like a date the company feels very, very confident about, with a cushion built in. Why? Two reasons. Reason one, legal protection. If something goes wrong and a customer gets sick, companies want a paper trail that says, "We were conservative about this." So they round down. Way down, often. Reason two, and this is the one Carolyn Beans, a science writer who covered this topic, pointed out really well. Companies want you to taste their product at its absolute best, so you keep buying it. A slightly stale cracker isn't dangerous, but it might make you switch brands. So manufacturers have a financial incentive to set the date early, ensuring you experience peak flavor and come back for more. These dates are part safety net, part legal shield, and part marketing strategy. They were never designed to be the precise moment food flips from fine to poison. That's just not what they are built to measure. Part 4. The specific stuff. What actually lasts and what doesn't. Let's get practical, because I know half of you are mentally walking to your pantry right now. Canned goods? They can stay safe for years past their printed date, as long as the can isn't bulging, leaking, or rusted through. A bulging can is genuinely a throw it out, no questions situation. That's a sign of gas buildup from bacteria, and it's not worth the gamble. But a normal-looking can sitting quietly in your pantry for an extra year or two. Probably fine. Frozen food is basically food frozen in time. Pun very much intended. Low freezer temperatures stop the bacteria that cause food poisoning dead in their tracks. A properly stored frozen dinner can last an extremely long time. It might lose some texture or flavor eventually, but safety-wise, your freezer is doing its job. Eggs in the fridge? Good for roughly 5 weeks past when you bought them. And if they do go bad, trust me, you will know. Crack a bad egg, and your kitchen will instantly smell like a chemistry experiment gone wrong. Your nose is doing quality control for free. Produce works the same way. Slimy lettuce, mushy berries, anything growing a fuzzy little ecosystem. Your eyes and nose are honestly better food safety inspectors than any date stamp ever printed. Now, the foods where you genuinely should be more careful: fresh meat, fresh seafood, deli meats, ready-to-eat salads, and unpasteurized cheese. These are the foods most likely to develop harmful bacteria that you can't smell, see, or taste. The danger is invisible until it's already made you sick. The USDA actually recommends eating or freezing fresh meat within just a few days of buying it, no matter what the package says. And infant formula dates are different too. Those are actually regulated for safety, so that's one date label you should treat as a hard rule, not a suggestion. So here is your mental shortcut: shelf-stable, dry, canned, or frozen. The date is mostly about taste. Your senses are your real guide. Fresh, perishable, or meant for a baby. Respect the date, don't get cute with it. Part 5. Wait, this is actually a huge problem, not just a kitchen quirk. Here is where this stops being a fun fact and starts being a real issue. In a survey of over 1,000 Americans, more than 70% said they use date labels to decide whether food is still good to eat. And almost 60% said they would toss food once it passed that date. No sniff test required, no second thoughts, straight to the trash. Restaurants and grocery stores do the exact same thing, multiplying this effect by, well, every restaurant and grocery store in the country. And remember that confusing label situation we talked about? Experts have actually proposed a fix: standardize everything down to just 2 phrases nationwide. Best if used by, for quality. Use by, for safety. No more sell by, no more random codes, no more guessing games. Researchers estimate that putting this standard in place at a federal level could prevent roughly 398,000 tons of food waste every single year in the U.S. alone. That's not a typo. Almost 400,000 tons, just from clearer labels. Some places are already experimenting with solutions. Several UK supermarket chains have actually removed date labels from produce entirely, just to force people to use their own judgment again. To go back to that ancient skill our great-great-grandmothers had. You know, the look at it and use your brain method. There is also a policy angle most people never think about. Right now, confusion around expiration dates has led at least 20 U.S. states to restrict donating food once it's past its labeled date. Even though, somewhat ironically, the federal government actually protects businesses that donate that food. So good food that's still perfectly fine gets stuck in legal limbo, instead of feeding people who need it. Meanwhile, France has gone the opposite direction completely, requiring many supermarkets to donate their unsold food rather than throw it away. Same problem, two very different national responses. Part 6. So what do you actually do with this information? Let's bring it back down to your actual kitchen, because that's where this matters most. Expiration dates were never designed to be a magic switch that turns food from safe to poison at the stroke of midnight. They were built as a rough guide, part science, part legal caution, part marketing, to help a food system get massively bigger than it used to be, back when farmers' markets down the street became factories and supermarkets across an entire country. But your senses didn't get a software update. Your nose still works exactly the way your great-great-grandmother's nose worked. Smell, taste, texture, appearance. These are still the most reliable safety tools you own, and they are completely free, no subscription required. So next time you are standing in front of your fridge holding something that's expired by a day or a week, or honestly sometimes even longer for shelf-stable stuff, pause for a second. Check the can for bulging. Give it a sniff. Look at the texture. Trust the actual evidence in front of you, not just a number a company printed on a label months ago, partly to cover themselves legally and partly to get you to buy more next week. Understanding what these dates really mean can save you real money, cut down on food waste, and honestly take a little stress out of your day. Because a yogurt cup doesn't deserve to ruin your morning. If this changed the way you are going to look at your fridge, do me a favor and smash that like button. It actually helps this video reach more people who are out here needlessly tossing perfectly good food. Share it with that one friend or family member who throws out literally everything the second the date passes. You know exactly who I am talking about. And subscribe for more videos that dig into the hidden stories behind stuff we see every single day and never actually think twice about. Because sometimes, the most boring little label in your kitchen is hiding one of the most misunderstood truths out there.